Let's see if I could go around and flank them real quick. What's up guys, in today's video I'm reviewing Poodle and seeing if the tank is worth the gold or if you should just pass it up entirely. The hit points on the Poodle is pretty average for a tier 6 medium. The armor isn't the best on the Poodle, it really only has armor on the front of it and we'll look at that more in Armor Inspector later in the video. The view range is good at 284.6 and the concealment is okay on the Poodle. The DPM is pretty good, sitting just under 2000 damage per minute. The reload time is decent for a tier 6 at 5.05 seconds. The penetration is good with the AP sitting at 160, APCR 182, and the AG at 20. It will be able to pin most of the tanks you come up against. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. The damage is average for a medium tier 6, with the AP sitting at 160, APCR 135, and the AG at 200. It will vary depending on high and low rolls. The aiming time and dispersion is good at 3 seconds and 0.299 respectively. Gun elevation is decent at 17 degrees and the gun depression is alright at 8 degrees, but in certain spots you will not be effective. The speed on the Poodle is very good, with the top speed going forward 50, in reverse 20, and the average speed 39, which is fast enough to spot enemies, reposition, and support your team. The turn rates are good, with the turret turn rate at 36.45 and the hull turn rate at 48.7 degrees a second. The terrain crossing capacity and engine power look pretty good for the Poodle. I'll flash the consumables, provisions, ammunition, and equipment on the screen. That is just how I like to run the Poodle. The credit coefficient is alright on the Poodle at 145%. It's not the worst at making credits, but it's definitely not going to be the best. Most people will be able to pin you on the front of the Poodle. The upper plate, you might be able to get a few bounces, but not many. Everyone's pinning that lower plate. The only real part that you can bounce on this vehicle is the turret on the front. It is very strong with how sloped those cheeks are. Yes, there's a few spots like that little part under the gun mantlet, the cupola, and that little upper part that if the enemy hits it, they will be able to pin it. But overall, the turret is very strong. The sides don't really have to go over it. Everyone's going to be able to pin it. And same goes for the backside. Everyone will be able to pin you. It appears that the Poodle looks like it will be most effective in a haul down position. Some tactics you could use to effectively play the Poodle are peekaboo, flanking, circle death, sniping, and let me clarify that one. Not from the back of the map and you sit there the entire battle and do nothing to help your team. Play the Poodle like a normal medium, but if you find yourself in a position where you could get some snipes off, it is good at that. And it is fairly strong in a haul down position. If you think I left some important tactics or information about the Poodle out, leave them down in the comments below. I have 2 replays for you, both of them are against tier 6s and 7s to show you how effective this tank is against same and higher tier. The entire enemy team pushed over to the left hand side besides this Jade. I don't know what he was thinking, but my team rushed in and utterly destroyed him. Thank God, because if I was in 1v1 with the Jade, I would have gotten torn apart. The Poodle is alright in 1v1s, you really have to decide if that 1v1 is worth it or not. I have no idea who hit me, but we got a lucky bounce. Our heavies are doing a good job at holding off the enemy team, but we need to quickly move in before they get wiped out. I was thinking about flanking around towards that cryos, but I realized that we have a good sniping position right here into the back of the enemy while our heavies distract them. This is what I meant earlier when I was talking about sniping in this tank. Play the Poodle like a normal medium, but if you happen to find yourself in a situation like this one where you could get some snipes off, it will be good at that. I'm focusing that IS-2 because 1, he's out in the open, that's the obvious target, but 2, he is a huge threat being a tier 7 heavy. During the games that I played in the Poodle, I realized that going up against tier 7s is a bit of a struggle for the Poodle, so I'm focusing any tier 7s that I can right now just to whittle them down to a one-shot or get them out of the game. Obviously, you want to focus the lower hit point tanks just to get the guns out of the game, but in this instance, the Tiger P is the only target available, so I'm just going to focus him next. I'm waiting a bit longer to see if any of the enemy team pulls out into the open. It doesn't look like anyone is, so I'm about to reposition since I have no shots when the E8 pulls out. So if I still have shots, I'm going to stay here and keep laying them into the enemy. I take out that Loza to get a gun out of the game. The SU pulls out in the open and just sits there, so obviously I'm going to stay here and get another shot into him. And I pull back just as he fires, causing him to miss. I don't really think that the enemy is going to be pulling out into the open if they have half a brain, so I decided to reposition since I am no longer effective here. That Tiger P pulled out a little bit, so I thought I could possibly get a cheeky snapshot into him, but our teammates end up taking him out instead. It is a 3v2 situation. Our sphere is on the front line, but I have the most hit points, so my plan was to rush in there and have the enemy team just focus me while my teammates get shots into them, but it didn't really work out like that. The SU is a 2-shot, so I stop, get a shot into him, and our AMX ends up finishing him off. The EA ends up taking out our AMX, and I end up getting a lucky snapshot into him before he pulls back into cover. I pulled back and waited for a second because I really thought the E8 was just going to pull out into the open, but I give props to him. He played a bit smarter than I thought he would. He used those water tanks, or whatever you want to call them, as cover, avoiding me from getting shots into him so he could focus the sphere. But in the end, it really didn't matter. We got a little over 2,000 damage that battle, 1 tank destroyed, and the second class. This is really a standard game you would get in the Poodle. As you can see, it makes a decent amount of credits at 8,200 profit, but really it's not really the best credit maker, and we are on top of the leaderboard for that battle. We pushed over to base C and immediately spot the Chi-Ri. I pop off a shot and try to back up, but it is blocked by the Bulldog, so I stay, try to get another shot into that Chi-Ri, and of course it ends up bouncing. On a tank that has virtually no armor, it bounces. I don't know how to explain that. Our team is supporting us though, so I'm not too worried. I pull up and I finish off that Chi-Ri. We got a bounce from the Titan, so I'm gonna keep an eye on him while I cap out base C. Real quick, if you guys want me to make a certain type of video on World of Tanks Blitz, let me know down in the comments below. Right as I'm about to cap out C, I end up rolling out of the base and I do not capture it. I tried to time it perfectly, but things just happen and I can't go back now. I start focusing the 45 TP, but as you can see, it is completely red and I can't even pin him. I have to pull out, hit his lower plate, and get back into cover. I switch to APCR just to make sure I can pin his cupola, and I stay in this hold down position or back up into cover more. Our Bulldog is distracting him and the 45 TP isn't even bothering to focus me at this point. I decide to be a little bit more aggressive, pull out into the open, get another shot into him, and now I'm gonna start rushing him. He does manage to bounce our upper plate, but we finish him off. The other half of our team is doing a pretty good job at holding off 1, 2, 3 quick mass most of the rest of the enemy team. While they are distracting them, I'm going to flank around and hit them from behind. The ARL is lowered down to a one-shot, so I might as well take an extra gun out of the game. I rush forward and focus the E25. I already know that if he manages to get away, it is going to be a pain to try and hunt him down. I get one shot off before the Tankenstein starts pulling back, so I get another shot into him, setting on fire, and I pull back even more using the ARL's destroyed tank as cover as I focus the Tankenstein. Our team manages to take out that E25 while I'm still focusing the Tankenstein, and I set him on fire again, now with the support of my team. And they are going to finish off the Tankenstein. All that's left on the enemy team is the Rudolph, and we have not seen him the entire battle, so I assume that he is AFK at their spawn. I'm gonna rush over there and see how much more damage I could dish out before this battle ends. Is the Poodle worth it? Honestly, no. Originally, you could get it for free, so if they do another event where you could get it for free, or if it's discounted, go for it. It plays a lot like the tier 7 Panther, so if you like the playstyle of the Panther, I feel like you would like the Poodle because it's pretty much the same thing, just one tier lower. But personally, I could get a few games that I enjoy in the Poodle, but when I play it, it just feels off. I can't really put it into words. Also, it's a copy and paste of this tier 6 Panther. I don't know how to say that, but it's a copy and paste of it. There are plenty of better premium medium tanks at tier 6 that you could get. What do you think of the Poodle? Let me know in the comments.